One more question, London. San Francisco has too many people publicly using drugs and defecating on our streets. What will you do to clean up San Francisco's streets so that kids can feel safe? Please be specific.
You know, addiction is a real challenge for those who face it. And just because we don't want to see it doesn't mean it's going to go away. We have to find innovative ways to address this problem. It's one of the reasons why I am seriously looking at investing in safe injection sites. It has nothing to do with trying to make it convenient for someone to use drugs and everything to do with trying to clean up our streets, to make sure it's not happen openly. And also, there's medical support, there's detox, there's a support to someone who is struggling with addiction, something that can help them when they're in the process of dealing with whatever they're dealing with. And I think this is an option that is working in other places like Vancouver, which I had a chance to visit it. It has done amazing things for cleaning up the streets and getting people inside and keeping it more contained, treating people like human beings and making sure that when they're ready, they have a place to go, a place to kick the habit. So I know that this is a really challenging thing and very controversial, but I do think that it would make a difference. I'm tired of the needles that are being found, not only all over our streets, but in our playgrounds, and the fact that kids are seeing this happen so openly. It is just really heartbreaking that they're growing up in an environment and they think this behavior is normal. So I think providing, a contained facility where we really try and make sure this thing is done indoors and out of sight, where we have medical professionals and people to assist, is something that could help address this issue, something that I'm committed to. And the other thing that I'm committed to is making sure that we do everything we can to clean up our streets. Many of the programs that we provide funding to, we want them to hold their clients accountable to helping us clean up these streets. Yes, we can provide more bathrooms, more pit stops with attendants and do other things of that nature, but we also need to make sure that we're changing behavior and we're holding people accountable. We provide millions of dollars in services for a lot of this population. And we understand that many face addiction and mental illness. And we also need to make sure that there's some level of accountability with the social services that we provide funding to for the purposes of helping us clean up the streets. We have a program in the Haight-Ashbury, taking it to the streets. That's exactly what they do. We pay for the housing. And the program is run by Christian, who is an amazing person who started this with hardly anything. He's housing these young people. And their responsibility, they're ambassadors for the neighborhood. They clean up the neighborhood. They take pride in the neighborhood. And that's part of one solution. And the people who we know on our streets are struggling with mental illness. We've got to make some changes to our conservatorship laws so that someone who is struggling with mental illness is able to be conserved, and that is provided a guardian, so that because they can't necessarily make decisions for themselves. This is not going to be an easy thing to do. Many of the things that I'm proposing are very controversial, taking away someone's civil liberties, providing possible safe injection facilities. These are really controversial things to do, but what's happening out on our streets right now is unacceptable, and it's time that we start thinking about these things differently if we want to really address these problems. We have to have a no tolerance policy, but we also have to put tools in place to make sure that we can get our streets cleaned up, and I'm committed to doing that.